Welcome to the Rebound Las Vegas, our ongoing series designed to get you back to work and back in business. I'm Trisha Keene. We'll spend the next 30 minutes showcasing hot jobs, talking about ways to keep your family safe, and we'll also look at ways to manage that stress so many are feeling. Here are this week's stories.
The future of Las Vegas is brighter than ever. Big names like Tiesto and Bruno Mars, Usher, and the Jonas Brothers, all getting ready to hit the stage after a year away.
We opened in January and we started off with 30 people in the audience.
Caroline McLean is a professional dancer with X-Burlesque at the Flamingo. The show opened earlier this year with limited capacity and has been slowly adjusting its rules.
Is it nice to be able to see everyone's full face once again?
Oh my God, we say that all the time. Oh my gosh, I can see people's faces now and they look so happy.
Now that mask requirements have been lifted for fully vaccinated people, that's one of the biggest changes you'll see in town. At the Fremont Street experience, the wait is finally over.
We are known for free live music. All of our fans have been clamoring for that.
To mark the first official day of full capacity, Paul McGuire, the chief marketing officer, says they're going big.
We wanted to waste no time, and on Tuesday, June 1st at 12:01, every one of our stages are going to be activated until 4 a.m. We are going to light it up, the only Fremont Street experience style.
And the countdown is on. Right now, all eyes are on the Strip's newest property, Resorts World. Here's the president, Scott Sabella.
We wanted to break the mold of what you see up and down the Strip, only because, as you know, there hasn't been a property at this level built in over a decade on the Las Vegas Strip.
Focusing on key elements to make the place stand out.
Technology plays a big role. Non-gaming venues plays a big role. Entertainment plays a big role. So everything that we talked about, again, we want to be best in class. It just feels good. It's just a fresh property. And we know it's going to be really good for the city, but we're really excited to introduce it to the visitors of Las Vegas.
It's time for a new beginning, a fresh start. It's time for a new Las Vegas.
The spotlight is on and the stage is set. It's time for the return of Las Vegas.
Well, weddings were put on hold in Las Vegas along with everything else when the pandemic hit, but locals in the industry say wedding bells are ringing again. 13 Action News reporter Joe Bartels reports that happy couples are flocking to Vegas, where you can have your wedding cake and eat it too.
If you were to take a Coke bottle and just shake it and keep shaking it during that pandemic, and now you've let that top go, it's crazy. So the wedding industry is exploding right now.
Veronica Murkowski of Creative Bridal Wear says the pandemic was scary. She didn't know if her small business would make it. But as things start to get back to normal, she admits she's having trouble keeping up with demand.
They're calling the day ahead. Hey, we just booked a chapel and we need everything done. Can you recommend hair and makeup? Can you recommend flowers? Do you know a limo company? I think people are really ready to take a next step, and they're ready to do it very quickly.
People like Jim and Britt from New York. The happy couple are visiting Las Vegas for the very first time.
He's like, let's go to Vegas for your birthday. I'm like, okay. And then he said to me a few weeks after we had discussed it, he goes, let's go get married. And I'm like, are you serious?
Jim says it made sense to walk down the aisle during their visit.
Well, this seems like a good time. We can have some fun, and I like to play poker. She likes the slot machines.
So it's like I'm mesmerized by the lights. I'm mesmerized by the action, the number of people on the street, the things I see on the street.
Jim and Britt are tying the knot at Chapel of Flowers, where couples are saying I do in all 5 of their locations.
We're getting busier, and a lot of these weekend dates are getting booked up. There are weekend times available, but they're getting filled very quickly.
Director of Sales Jose Alonso says couples are making up for lost time and looking to be joined in matrimony right away.
Sometimes we're doing this within 2 weeks or maybe even a week. So that timeline has definitely shrinked for us, which adds a little bit more of a speed and multitasking that we have to do as far as accomplishing these dreams for them. But it's definitely doable.
Jose says they're meeting demand, but couples have been surprised by some changes, like food prices.
Certain menus have had to change. So we have a lot of vendors that we work with when it comes to restaurants. And yeah, menus have had to change to try to keep things cost effective. Certain things just because it's a popular offering, have had to go up in price.
Chapel of the Flowers and Creative Bridal Wear say it's not just out-of-towners, but locals who are also getting married. Brides and grooms everywhere know just about anything you can imagine is possible in Sin City.
I think a lot of people know now that Vegas is anything you want. You got your photos, you got your flowers, you got your dresses, hair and makeup, everything you can plan with the touch of a button. Come down here, grab your marriage license and go.
That's been the experience for Jim and Brett. They're excited for their big day, and Jim says the pandemic put everything into perspective.
With COVID, like it made us realize what's really important. So we said, okay, let's go and get married.
Joe Bartels, 13 Action News.
Now, Fremont Street is back. It really is starting to feel a lot like old school downtown Las Vegas before the pandemic. And while things have cleared out a good bit since the concerts ended at 4 o'clock last night, or this morning rather, there were hundreds of people here at Fremont Street, stretching from one end to the other. And all of this is happening because live music is bringing the soul of this area back. Midnight marked the beginning of a new chapter here, with local acts taking to the stage once again. Dancers and DJs, all under the world's largest video screen, the Viva Vision board. Hundreds of people packed under the canopy to see acts like Alter Ego, Spandex Nation, and Fremont Street staple Zoe Bowie. He's performed here twice a week for 11 years and says that it is very good to be back.
It's almost surreal, you know, the fact that we've all been sitting on the couch for about 14 months while Vegas lay dormant was a very unusual thing because, you know, in my opinion, Vegas wasn't meant to close. And now that we're opening back up, we are so thrilled that we can bring our brand of Vegas excitement to the world for people to come here to be and do whatever they want.
Fremont Street President Andrew Simon says that live acts will be back every day through the end of the year. So far, he says the experience has already lined up 8 to 10 big acts with local artists throughout the calendar.
Welcome back to the Rebound Las Vegas. For more details on any of the stories that you're watching today, visit our website, ktnv.com/rebound.
Trapped no longer, Americans are expected to take to the air and roads with a vengeance.
We're going to spend more money, maybe take more trips, or stay longer than we usually do.
Updated CDC guidelines say fully vaccinated people taking proper precautions can travel domestically at low risk.
It's not completely back to normal yet, and I think for a lot of people, they will want to stay a little closer to home or travel to areas that they have a lot of comfort with for a while.
According to AAA, 34 million Americans are planning Memorial Day road trips, with another 2.5 expected to travel by air.
There are a lot of people traveling, so, you know, those COVID roads where there were open roads and not so much traffic, that's not so much the case anymore.
The top 5 road trip destinations this holiday weekend include Las Vegas, Orlando, Myrtle Beach, Denver, and Nashville. But pent-up demand also means vacationing will be expensive. Flight prices have been climbing since April.
This is a popular time for people to travel anyway. Families are reconnecting. There are a lot of factors converging, and all of this is compounded by the fact that there's still reduced inventory.
Low inventory and high demand for rental cars could leave some scrambling for a ride. Rental car prices in places like Arizona, Hawaii, and Florida have spiked by 300%.
As much as $134 a day, if not more. So definitely best to plan ahead when you're looking at rentals.
Experts say there will also be pain at the pump.
Gas prices are the most expensive we've seen since 2014, and they're not going to get cheaper anytime soon.
For those hoping to avoid crowds, experts suggest reconsidering travel to some of the most popular vacation destinations.
It's important to use a travel agent, someone you can ask questions to, understand what's open, what restrictions are in place, just again, so you can enjoy that vacation, especially if you're planning an international trip.
It's important to remember the pandemic is not over yet, and case increases could change things at your final destination.
It's also a really good time to think about getting a travel insurance policy, even if that's something you didn't do before the pandemic. It's a great way to protect your travel investment.
Experts say successful summer travel will be found where planning ahead meets flexibility. I'm Usher Qureshi reporting.
Welcome back to the Rebound Las Vegas. For more details on any of the stories that you're watching today, visit our website, ktnv.com/rebound.
Legends in Concert making a comeback at the Tropicana as well. The pandemic, as we know, forced operations to be suspended for the first time in 38 years.
But today the doors will open to everyone. 13 Action News reporter Alicia Patillo stopped by just ahead of opening night.
Well, it's one of the most iconic shows.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh yeah, Legends in Concert is back. It's been a year since they took center stage. Now some of the world's most iconic entertainers are back in action.
We finally got the call to come back, and we couldn't be more ecstatic.
Giving audiences a one-of-a-kind chance to experience the most captivating music, dancing, and fashion.
That's right.
Frank Marino, the Strip's longest-running headliner, will serve as the show's host once again as legend Joan Rivers.
Here's what we have in the show now. Elvis Presley, which makes everybody go nuts. We have Rod Stewart, who everybody loves. And we have Miss Tina Turner, who everybody really, really loves. So with those characters, you're just going to get a party. You know what I'm saying? The room is going to be just energetic. And I think they're ready to get out just as much as we're ready to perform.
Now that live entertainment is back, they're ready to give audiences everything they got. The show runs from May 27th through December 31st inside its iconic home at Tropicana, Las Vegas.
Come roll down the river with Tina Turner from Legends in Concert every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. See you there.
And you can find out more information on our website at ktnv.com. Alicia Patillo, 13 Action News.
One of the things that the Superbook here is doing at the Westgate, you can see here now they have all the chairs. This is the only lane that I can really walk down because before they were having social distancing of all their chairs. Now this is full. And one of the new things that they have here at Superbook is a super karaoke, and right next to $1 million, that is $1 million, they set up a stage for people to do karaoke, and on the screens they have the words, they have so that the audience can sing along, they have a big screen of your picture. Just a really fun time. It's been so successful and they're going to keep doing it. And operating at full capacity, that means they need more staff. Westgate is hiring along with a lot of businesses here across the valley. It's back to business in Nevada. Hotels, casinos, restaurants fully reopening, much like before the pandemic, just in time for summer tourism.
We're having a hiring event Monday, June 7th.
Here at Texas Roadhouse in North Las Vegas, they're hiring, as local and state leaders gave the green light for businesses to operate at full capacity beginning June 1st.
We're hiring for every position.
Yep,
So front of house, back of house, line cooks, servers.
Like many restaurants across the valley, at the start of the pandemic in 2020, the restaurant had to shut down the dining area.
Surprisingly, we are short-staffed, but our sales are more than the sales when we first opened the restaurant.
It's a problem many restaurants and businesses are having. Lots of customers, but not enough staff to fill those orders. And even though the unemployment rate is inching down, economic experts say there's not a lot of incentive to fill these job openings.
With the unemployment and stimulus money still flowing out there, many folks are choosing to stay home rather than go back to work.
KTMV financial analyst Steve Buden also says even the convention business is struggling. He says now that Las Vegas is fully open, the leisurely travelers will hold up the local economy. But that's just for summer.
The big challenge Vegas is going to face is in the fall and in the winter, when a lot of those business travelers come in. Business travelers that attend conventions statistically tend to spend a little bit more money.
I'm back here live at Superbook, where a lot of money will be spent because now that it is at full capacity, they're able to have their sporting events like they always do. And over the summer, a lot of sporting events happening, the Olympics, NBA Summer League, and even this week, Las Vegas Golden Knights, they're away, so that means people are going to be coming here. So everything is just getting back to normal. They're getting their staff back, they're bringing their furloughed employees back, along with new employees, as much of all of Las Vegas businesses plan to do. Reporting live, Rachel Moore, 13 Action News.
Welcome back to the Rebound Las Vegas. For more details on any of the stories that you're watching today, visit our website, ktnv.com/rebound.
Thank you. A Las Vegas company faced some unique challenges because of the pandemic, but they're thanking customers for helping them keep their doors open.
13 Action News anchor Trisha Keene shows you how a local family fun center was able to throw a rebound.
Welcome to Axe Monkeys near Eastern and Sunset. Inside this 14,000 square foot facility are 24 socially distant lanes where you can throw axes and knives.
This family fun center is owned by hypnotist and comedian Anthony Cools. His show recently closed after 25 years of performing here in Las Vegas. And when that happened, he hired his opening act, Steve Falcon, as general manager.
This was a tremendous opportunity for me to come in, help him out through COVID, and also help me out because it gave me a place to show up and work.
Steve says there were some challenges, along with having to sanitize the facility and follow COVID safety guidelines. They ran into issues getting their unique targets.
They actually come from the California forest. So this year became a little bit difficult for us because all the logging was shut down. So it took us quite a while to source our targets.
Fortunately, they've been able to replenish their supply. Steve says they use logs for safety reasons.
A lot of axe throwing places are throwing into plywood, and plywood is, those axes come bouncing right back. And those are the videos that you see. You know, we're throwing into logs, and when the axe hits the log, if it doesn't stick, it just drops to the ground 99% of the time.
Safety is, of course, key for any place letting you throw an axe for fun.
Everybody can do it. I mean, you know, we have 7-year-old children throwing axes under supervision. We've got senior citizens of all strength levels doing this.
Steve says it really is fun for the entire family, and they're thankful for every person who walks through the doors.
We love the fact that the communities embrace the business. The locals kept this place alive during COVID.
For 13 Action News, I'm Trisha Keene.
For over a year, the pandemic forced many people from their typical work routines. Kara Davis started a new job and has been remote since last March.
I haven't really met or gotten to know many people at all there, so there's kind of that layer of anxiety.
As time goes on, some businesses may be starting to transition folks back to the office. Davis has been preparing for that change herself.
I'm a little anxious about this. It's just this has been a big lifestyle change for me.
They've gotten used to this. It's become the new norm for them, and then suddenly they have to move back.
Dr. Ryan Wagner is an associate professor of psychiatry at USF Health. First, when it comes to the stress of returning with the pandemic, his advice is to get vaccinated and be aware of what your workplace requires for safety. For example, with masks.
Are you more comfortable even if they don't require masks, that you wear one in the office? If that's something that would remove the stress for you, I would encourage that.
The other major stressor of going back to work, he says getting out of your routine. He suggests finding a way to make what he calls a Goldilocks plan.
You know that you need to go back for a couple of days per week, plan out what days you're going to go for. But at the same time, if something arises where you have to go in an extra day or you're requested to, be willing and able to be flexible with that.
But what can employers do to make the transition easier for employees? I asked Dr. Joyce Bono, a professor of management at the University of Florida's College of Business. She told me she thinks it's about having a conversation about not just flexibility, but about autonomy.
I think organizations, if they wanted this to be ideal for the long run, they should be talking with employees or employee groups, job types, about what are the essential functions that need to be done in the office, what are the essential socialization needs that require us to be physically together, and listening to what are the family needs of our workers.
I might be the first university professor ever to say he's actually looking forward to a face-to-face faculty meeting.
Experts also suggest reaching out to colleagues to share how you're feeling. Steve Kistulins teaches at St. Leo University, remote now for over a year.
I'm a big fan of change. I think the worst thing that can happen to someone is to get stale in a routine.
And while employees ready themselves for another new normal, Davis shares the same advice she's been giving herself, to keep an open mind.
You can either say no, 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 or you can just say, wow, this is a change. Let's see what happens today.
Thanks for watching the Rebound Las Vegas on your favorite streaming device. If you missed any part of this week's program, just hit the back button on your remote and scroll down until you see the Rebound, and you'll find every segment we aired in this episode. Stay tuned for more from 13 Action News after the break, and check us out anytime here on KTMV Streaming. Las Vegas News on your time.